G'day guys, and today's topical discussion is our top 4 prediction. It's always a tough one to sort of pick. It's a bit of a roller coaster, can change a lot. Shorty, who's in your top 4? We're quarter of the way through the season. Who have you got in there, mate?
Yeah, you're spot on. It is pretty tough to predict, and it has been a roller coaster season. But I've got the Hawks finishing on top. I don't think you'd get too many arguments there. They've been outstanding. Just apart from us, they've been crunching sides, even in the pre-season. Just in fine form, the Hawks, and I think they'll definitely finish on top at this point. They'll be tough to beat. And in second position, I'd probably have to say Port Adelaide. I think Geelong and Port will round out the second and third spots, but I think it'll be probably come down to percentage or a game here or there. But I think they've been the two clear standout sides behind the Hawks over the whole season, and I think that'll be seemingly the top 3. And that fourth position is the one that's really up for grabs and a pretty tough one to predict, because there's been sides, really putting their hands up and quickly putting them straight back down after poor performance. The next week, like the Eagles early, the Bombers likewise, North Melbourne. Again, they were disappointing today after some good performances, but I've got Fremantle in there for the fourth position.
Yeah, it's probably the toughest one of them all.
Yeah, I think they're starting to really gel together. They've got Sandlin that's played a great game in the Derby, and Pavs, starting to play some good footy. Fife and Barlow are back in the mix, because they have had some, tough luck with the injury side of things. And plus, they'll just back Ross Lyon to get the job done. He's such a good coach, and
he sure is. Yeah,
they're a proven performer, the Dockers. So I really think they can, bounce back from what hasn't been the best start they would have been after. But I expect them to, finish strong. Get their discipline back and their structures right, and I expect them to finish 4th. And it'll be a tough one to predict, but they're mine at the moment. But who do you have finishing in the top 4 ties?
Yeah, it's kamikaze picking a top 4 any day of the week. I've gone with Hawthorn, as I imagine most people would have them finishing minor premiers. They just have the ability to just kill sides, win by big margins, and their only challenge is seemingly Geelong, and I think their only other challenger would be Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. I couldn't see them beating them in Melbourne, but you never really know. It's always tough to tell, but yeah, just a great spread of goal kickers. Really helps them out, makes them unpredictable. And yeah, obviously Geelong only the real challenger at the moment. Rounding out second, it'd have to be Port Adelaide. I think mainly on percentage they've crunched sides at Adelaide Oval. I nearly said Amy Stadium, but we've moved on from there a little bit. And yeah, they've just really built themselves up, having Ken Hinkley as coach, and he's just done a sensational job. He's arguably one of the best coaches in the AFL.
Yeah, what a turnaround in 18 months, eh?
Yeah, we thought that they're just about gone financially, and look at what they've done. Yeah. So yeah, I think Port will probably finish 2nd, and Geelong probably 3rd. Hopefully they finish top 4. It'd be a bit disappointing if they didn't. Yeah. But yeah, not a heap of challenges can really sort of get the Cats. Port got us the other week, and I can only really see a few other sides sort of really challenging them. I'd say Fremantle, North Melbourne on their day. North Melbourne seem to get us, and Collingwood is probably another side. Not so much Sydney, because we seem to do pretty well against the Swans. I think they've only beaten us twice since maybe 2006. So yeah, it's that's sort of another challenger inside what could be inside the top 4. And yeah, they generally get the job done and finish well. So I'm going to go with the Cats for 3rd. 4th, it's really a flip of the coin here for a few teams, but I've gone with Collingwood. They've just had that consistency about them, and more so than other sides that may have flirted with the idea of being in the top 4 early on. Sides like Essendon, West Coast, sort of thought they could have done it, but at this point in time, at least, it doesn't appear like they'll be able to challenge due to their lack of consistency. So yeah, all Collingwood really need to do is just sort of tidy up their last quarters. They've had a few games where they just sort of leaked lots of goals in the last quarter, and it's made what could have been a 100-point game to 5 goals. So that's probably one area they need to address. But they're pretty consistent and can challenge the best sides in the comp. So Collingwood will round out 4th spot. I think Fremantle will definitely be really in the mix as well, getting their stars back. certainly help them out. And I think North would probably be behind Fremantle, but you never know which North Melbourne side is going to come to play. They're just so inconsistent. It's amazing. So, yeah, and then probably Sydney are behind North Melbourne, traditional slow starters. But John Longai and Sydney, based on their culture, they just usually get the job done. So, yeah, those sides will certainly be in contention for top 4 as well. But I'm pretty happy with who I've picked. But it can change as quickly as a weekend of footy, mate.
Yeah, for sure. Hasn't it been a bit of a revolving door? The top 4, like so many sides in contention one week, and like you say, the next, they're out of contention almost. So just a couple of poor weeks dropping off, and yeah, it's a tough one to predict. North have had some ripping performances and then some equally terrible ones like today against the Suns. And then credit to the Suns, they're obviously improving in that, but it's likewise with Sydney, it's been up and down, likewise with Fremantle. But as we were saying before, I think it's, that's the difference between the top 4 sides and maybe sides who just outside that sort of mark, is that consistency over a season and over a full game. So I think, tough to always predict the top 4, especially so sort of 7 rounds into the season, but
so those are some thoughts from Shorty and myself. Our top 4 prediction, roughly quarter way through the season. Put in the comments who you think is going to finish in your top 4. It seems to change every week, but hopefully, we've got a bit of consistency. Sort of the next few rounds will tell a big tale and really see who will probably cement their position in the top 4. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to us as well. That's always good. And we'll see you guys all soon.